Your favorite scene that you filmed together?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. What do you think?
Honestly, the one that comes to mind first was the day where I laid on the couch all day. And
Yeah, you had an easy filming day that day.
Yeah, I had a very easy day that day, but no, it was great. I out of everything, it has to be that day. But
I think from an actor's point of view, when you get to lay on a couch all day, you sort of think, this is a good gig.
And I got to just sit back and observe and really watch it, because I think so much of what we do, you're in the moment. I mean, I love working with Sean. It's just a blessing. He's not only hilarious, but very handsome, as you ladies know. So I haven't had a very tough job.
And he's British.
And so getting to lay there and just kind of watch and see, oh wow, this is what's going on when I'm in it. It was, I don't know, I really liked it. It was lots of fun.
But yeah, I mean, it's obviously, I think one of the first scenes that we shot where myself and Christie and Lana are in this. There's the three of us there, and obviously I've been playing all of this stuff with Lana, but then Robin Hood and Maid Marian are an iconic couple, and the scene where I was sort of going, wait, Marian, hang on, now, wait, Regina, if you could just, I actually started to feel awkward. Sean started to feel awkward, and I was like, hang on a second, this is not real. Why am I getting upset about this? But I just remember thinking, there's a couple of scenes that we've shot that, knowing how passionate the reaction of the fans is, you know, we've shot a few scenes, like especially the scene where the finale of the midway through the season, and it was emotional because I felt emotional because I was trying to get myself in that place, but also I knew that when people saw it, there was going to be such a mixture of emotions that a lot of people feel Robin Hood should be with Maid Marian. That's how history has written it. But a lot of people who are big Once fans feel that Robin and Regina are supposed to be. So there's a conflict of interest, and a lot of people have said to me, why is this happening? And I don't understand, and stop it. I should just reiterate, we do not write this show.
No.
We don't even write a little bit. We don't write any of it. We just are actors, we turn up, and we do what's on the page, and it's non-negotiable. So any kind of anger that is sort of often steered towards me or to Christie or even to Lana, you know, it's a story. And if, you know, you remember when your parents used to tell you a bedtime story, whether it was Goldilocks and the Three Bears or whatever, you wouldn't stop halfway through the story and go, hang on a second, Hansel and Gretel are being thrown in an oven. This is terrible. I've had enough. Good night, Mum and Dad. You wait till the end of the story and you find out what's happened. So we are only midway through telling our story, and we hope that the end will be satisfying for all of the viewers. And if it's not, please don't write to me and tell me how much you hate me. I'd appreciate that.
Very well put.
Okay, I have two questions for each. First one's to Christie.
Yeah.
As Maid Marian, when you're given the role, was your first reaction like, oh, is this going to be like the Disney movie, or did you even know what you were walking into as Maid Marian when you knew that Regina and Robin had some kind of fling thing?
Well, when I first came into the world of Once Upon a Time, it was actually in season 2 for a brief moment. And there was a scene where I was pregnant and then I was sick and I was cured. And so after getting the role of Marian, I was very excited. It was top secret, and then I finally found out who I was going to be playing. Once I found out it was Marian, I was so thrilled. And then cut to having that one scene, and that was it. That was it for Marian, and that was the end of it. So I had kind of put the idea of playing Marian away, and I was happy to have been part of Once for that brief period in time. Now, when I got the call about a year and a bit ago that she was coming back, that knocked me off my seat. I had no idea. I had heard that I was going to be coming back in some capacity, but I didn't even get the script for that finale until I think a week before we went to film. I knew nothing. So I didn't even have time to process it, to be honest. I was so excited. I had known what was going on. I knew the fans were going to be wrecked by this. And then I had to keep my mouth shut. I couldn't say anything to anyone. Even close friends of mine knew I was going back to filming and they didn't know on what. So, and then over the whole summer, I couldn't say anything. So it was hard.
Okay, the next question for Sean. when you found out that, you did say that Robin and Maid Marian are iconic couple, but as playing Robin Hood with Regina, who would you, as Robin Hood, rather be with, Regina or Maid Marian? I mean, I think everybody's asking that question.
It's a shipping question.
Yes, that is an awkward question. Thank you for that. To be honest, I don't really, my personal feelings about the history of Robin Hood and Marian or the future of Robin and Regina, my personal feelings don't really pay into it. It's obviously, as actors, we want to collectively make a product that pleases an audience. That's fundamental to most actors. You want to please yourself artistically, but you want to have an audience cheering and saying, that's how we wanted the story to go. But with Once Upon a Time, as fans of the show, you'll know, they take characters that you know well, and then they tilt them, and they change that world. Robbie, our good friend and son, it plays Peter Pan, and Peter Pan is bad. Captain Hook, who's our good friend Colin, plays Captain Hook, and he's essentially good. It's an altered universe from the characters we know, which I think is part of the genius of the show. But, with regards to, from Sean's point of view, Christie and I have had the good fortune to get along great and work well together. Lana and I get along great. So I don't try to second guess our writers. I think they're incredibly clever guys. They know what they're doing. And even if you get upset because you're midway through a story and you go, I don't like where this is going, you just have to stick with it. You have to, they're not writing stories that you're supposed to dip in and out of. You're supposed to stick with it. So in answer to your question, I think all of us as actors feel very safe in their hands and wouldn't second guess their judgment with regards to what should happen. That said, without giving anything away, the second part of the season, I think it's safe, because I haven't actually said this publicly yet, Robin Hood will be coming back. We will be exploring. There's a lot of people that were very angry about what's happening with Robin and Marian and, where it's supposed to go. It will be revealed, and I hope everybody, or at least nearly everybody, will be satisfied with how they tell this story. That's the most diplomatic way I can answer that.
You just gave
without
us
getting myself fired.
You just gave us an insight into the story already.
Thank you.
Oh gosh.
Last question is just after the Q&A. Quick hug, because last panel gave hugs. Just after Q&A, it would be great. Quick hug.
Hugs for everybody.
Yeah,
Hugs are still a thing. Hugs are still
Free
a
hugs
thing.
today.
Thank you.
Hi. I also loved you on Arrow, Christie, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, she was Diggle.
Yeah, but this is kind of for both of you. Once you kind of saw where the storyline with Marian was going, and you could tell, okay, she's maybe coming around to the fact that your characters aren't going to be together anymore, maybe, and you saw that kind of flip, and we saw her go talk to Regina. What was your process in playing that and seeing that kind of turn?
That was, getting that script in particular, that was one of my favorites. For a long time, I didn't know where they were going to take Marian, and especially, what her thought process was going to be in regards to Regina. I had my own idea, kind of where I thought I might like it to go, and like Sean said, we get the scripts from the writers, and then we go, okay, here we go, this is the answers. So as much as we want to wander in our heads, it's all on the page for us. I was thrilled to get that. Not only to have a scene to work with Lana, but also to explore the idea of a woman's intuition and the fact that I think Marian knew all along. She knew what was going on, and it wasn't something that she was going to just drift through. She was a little smarter than that. So
Yeah.
I was thrilled to see that on the page.
That's so cool. And I've been watching the show since day one, and I have to say the whole storyline with Robin Hood and Marian, it's been one of my favorites, overall as a series. So thank you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Hi. I just want to say that both of you are two of my favorite actors ever.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, that's very nice.
Yeah, sorry, I'm okay. Okay, sorry. So my question is kind of basic. It's for both of you. What's the best part about your job?
Ooh, do you mean as an actor generally, or do you mean specifically on Once Upon a Time?
Just in general.
I don't know about you, but I always said the greatest bit about being an actor is the phone call. Because you audition a lot. that's part of the gig. You have to audition a lot, you get rejected a lot. I often say it's a bit like speed dating. You just keep getting in front of someone going, hey, this is the best version of me, what do you think? They go, nah. And so the day that you get that phone call where your agent or your manager phones you and says, guess what, you're the guy or the girl. For that brief minute, you feel valid, you feel good at what you do, you feel reassured in your choice of career, you feel like, oh my God, there's so much potential with this job, with this film, with this show, I could do this. Now that dissipates quickly because the fantasy only lasts for a short period and then you realize, oh, it's not gonna be exactly as I thought, but there's a brief minute, hour where you dance around the house going, somebody actually thinks I'm okay at this. And I've been doing this for a very long time, and that doesn't go away. And I think if it did go away, then maybe I should pack up and find a different occupation. But just that brief time where somebody said, out of all of the people they saw, you know, whether it's hundreds and sometimes thousands, your version of the truth was the best, was the most real, was the most interesting. And it's an extremely exciting and heartwarming kind of feeling. And then, of course, you get on the set and then you realize, oh, I'm not going to get to do it the way I want, or sometimes you do. It changes, but you get that brief little window where it's just perfect for a little bit, and that is one of my favorite bits about being an actor. That, save one other thing, when you get to meet fans that really, really love what you do, and you get that they get to escape through your work, and you get to be part of that. Like I always say, when I was a kid, Star Wars was a big deal to me, and I got to meet Luke Skywalker and look up and go, oh, it's Luke Skywalker. To be able to be in that position for somebody else, to be Robin Hood to them, is probably the greatest thing in the world, I think.
I agree. This is new to me, a lot of this. This is my first convention. This is kind of one of my first experiences getting to meet a lot of the fans, and all the Twitter stuff is all new to me too. So that for me has been the most recent best part of my job. I mean, I was very shy as a child, and acting was one of those times that I felt an outlet to kind of just be crazy and weird, and it was awesome. And then, like you said, getting the jobs, you're like, yay, okay, I'm being crazy and weird in the right way, and people like my crazy and weird. And then now getting to meet all these other people that think it's kind of cool and like the shows and are excited about it too, because we get so excited. I mean, when I get the scripts, I'm so excited, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait till everyone likes this. Maybe they'll hate it, maybe they'll like it. So getting to meet everyone and see your responses, and it's kind of that final button on something you've been working on for a very long time. So yeah, I'm really liking you guys. Thanks.
All right, thank you guys. I hope you have a great weekend here.
Thanks.
Hi, my question's for both of you. I was just wondering, I know you love playing Robin and Marian, but if you could pick one other character on the show to play, who would you play?
It's a good question. I've been asked that a couple of times, and my response normally is, I don't think I'd want to be anyone else than Robin Hood. But if you're asking if I had to, if Robin Hood wasn't on the show, I mean, playing a villain is always, great fun. And on this show, villains are loved. You know, Lana's character, Regina, Bobby playing Rumpel, Rebecca playing the Wicked Witch. Villains get to have a little bit more fun, I think, as an actor. When you're good, you're just good. When you're bad, you can kind of you can be deliciously evil. And I think that's appealing to most of us, because also most of us try to be good in our normal everyday life, whereas to actually get paid to put on a costume and go, I'm gonna be so bad, that's just a really fun form of escapism that most regular people don't get to do. You don't get to go to the office and go, I'm going to kill everyone who photocopies today. You don't get to do that. So I guess playing Rumpel would be fun, or it would be a weird casting choice, but Regina would be kind of fun. Although I think Lana might be a little bit better at me than that.
She's pretty good at it. Yeah, I don't know, the more and more I play Marian, the same thing, I just feel so lucky I get to play her, but I've always really liked Red Riding Hood. Because I think she gets to play, she's not evil, but she kind of has that dark edginess, and then the good and the evil. But like you said, toying with the good and the evil, and what Once Upon a Time does, that is the coolest part. And so I think even the good characters, we all want to have a little evil.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hi, I wanted to ask you guys, suppose Once Upon a Time had a musical episode. How open would you guys be to that? And how much fun do you think you'll have?
I would need to be dubbed the whole time because I have the world's worst singing voice, and that's not even a joke.
I think we can compete on that, though.
Pardon?
We can compete on that. I'm pretty bad.
I don't want to. I gotta.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it right now.
Karaoke challenge at 9 o'clock tonight.
I would happily go for it because I love musical theater, and I think it would just be amazing to dance and sing and prance around. Like, I mean, if that's what they're gonna write for us, I'm not gonna say no. But yeah, I would need some help in the vocal department. You can sing though.
No, well,
Yes.
it's debatable.
Yes.
I think that we've been asked this a lot. It's obviously because Disney does music and musicals so well. I think it's a common question, and I honestly think that the boys, meaning Adam and Eddie, they've worked very hard to create a reality in this fairy tale genre. And with musicals, it can just take you out of the reality of something. So I don't know if that will ever happen. I think because we have an extraordinarily talented cast, a lot of whom are very musical, I'm sure that we could rise to that challenge, I would hope. But I'm not sure if that would ever happen. And I think certainly for me, maybe be different from Colin, because Colin's extremely talented as a guitarist and as a singer. He could probably take to it like a duck to water, but I think I'd be terrified because, you know, we have some critics out there that like to take shots at us when we're just talking. Yeah. So if we started singing, they'd be like, oh, God, they're awful. You know, so I think the answer will always be we'll do what ABC and Adam and Eddie want to do, but I wouldn't imagine it's going to happen.
Well, if you listen to all the critics, you probably wouldn't do anything, so.
That's true. Well said. Well said. But yeah, we'll do what the bosses tell us to do. In answer to your question.
Yeah, well, Grey's Anatomy has had a musical episode in quite a few.
Did they?
Yes.
I know. I heard about that. I haven't
Well,
seen
they all
it.
sung?
Yeah, all of a sudden they just started singing.
Really?
Doctors, yes.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Really?
Yes.
My buddy Jason George is on that show. He never told me he had to sing. Oh, we got to get him on the phone, Tanya.
Yeah, they had Grey's Anatomy do a musical show, and then they just had Supernatural do for the 200th episode. They had a huge musical.
Yeah,
for their
it kind
show.
of takes away from the whole storyline, and they just jump into this whole musical thing.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I love Rent. If it was done like Rent and it was like dark and seedy and...
I guess if the songs are good as well. I mean, so much is about, you know, if you can come up with a song like Let It Go, you tend to make the world a happier place. But I don't know. I guess if they do it, we'll try and rise to the occasion, I suppose.
Stranger things have happened.
Yes,
All right, I'll
very
keep my
true.
hopes up for a musical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
okay.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I have faith in you both of you guys can sing properly.
Yes.
Properly. That's the key. Properly.
All right, so as you've progressed through the show, what was the worst scene that you've had to go through, though? Not just, oh, it's not the best scene I've gone through. I mean, like, oh, I hate this scene. What was the worst scene ever? Worst scene.
I don't remember one outstanding in my mind that I really disliked. I mean, there are various reasons why a scene might not be your favorite. You know, whether it's environmental, because you're filming in the forest and it's freezing cold, or I remember I went over to the spin-off show Wonderland just for one episode, and we were filming in the mountains in the forest in Vancouver, and there was just a torrential downpour. A crane fell over. Somebody was nearly electrocuted, and we were sitting in our trailers, and you could just hear the rain coming down, and we thought we were all going to slide down a mountain. That, you know, you kind of think, oh, I could be back at the hotel in a nice cozy bed right now. So that's, you know, there's that, because filming takes a very long time, and it you know, what you might see on screen that takes a minute might have taken us 7 or 8 hours to shoot. So, you know, nobody likes to be cold or wet. So that was one of the scenes that stood out as, and also because you worry about your crew. You don't want the guys that are up in these cranes lighting to be struck by lightning or to drown. But to be honest, from an acting point of view, there's never been something that I really loathed. mainly because we've got such a great cast and crew, and even when it's tough, you tend to make each other laugh and kind of get through it. But can you think of one that you...
I don't know, like...
you had to be very still during that Frozen stuff.
I was going to say,
for a while.
the Frozen stuff was really hard only because I had really bad food poisoning. So from an actual how you're feeling point of view, it was the biggest blessing because I got to lie down all day and I was so sick. But that was the hardest day to actually be on set physically. But I don't know, I just feel so lucky on this show. I haven't had words written that come out so well, and the minute you read it, you just kind of feel it, and it really has been a joy to do every scene. I've done some shows, and I'm not gonna say, but in the past, and it's been really hard to say some of the words. You're like, I can't talk like this. You have a really hard time sometimes just even saying the words, and this just isn't one of those shows. I wish I had a better story for you, but it's the truth.
It's a very good question, though. Very challenging question.
Yeah.
Well, I knew you'd ask a tough question, having met you earlier. You should be a journalist.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She seems overwhelmingly disappointed with that answer. I'm going to come up with a better answer and find you later.
Hello.
Hi.
My question is about, like, for both of you, about the backstory of Robin Hood and Marian, because I know Adam and Eddie said that in 4B they're going to explore Robin Hood's backstory. So I was wondering, what do you guys think is going to happen, and are you excited to shoot some of that?
Yeah, we're both kind of excited. We don't actually. You probably heard the other actors say this. We don't really know, and Christie said it earlier. We don't know really. Sometimes, for the regular cast, the guys will give an indication of where the story is going, but it's very rare. They keep their cards very close to their chest. So we don't know much, but we do know that we will be exploring, obviously, the fact that, we're excited because we're coming back, which is great. And also, from the little that I do know, I'm really excited and intrigued to see what they're going to do. But don't think, we know very little, don't we?
Oh, I'm last to know all the time. I'm always messaging Sean, like, do you know what's going on yet?
And then I message Adam and Eddie, and have I left the show? Or am I still in? No, you're coming back.
After the finale, I gave them a big hug and said, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure working with you. Like, I hope to see you again. And because I'm like, you never know.
Yeah, we don't know. But we've been... Robin and Marian have been a bit more of a periphery storyline. Robin and Regina have been a bit more central, but that's really just been about my involvement in her life as opposed to exploring Robin Hood's environment, the Merry Men, Marian. So an opportunity to delve more into the character and to find out a little bit more about him, and also to find out where this story is going to go, because we know that Robin was obviously in love with Regina, but obviously loved his wife. But one of the other things is, was clarified to me that when Robin and Marian, when she died, there's been years and years since she passed away, apparently.
Yeah.
So even I don't fully understand it, and I won't pretend to. But it wasn't like she died, and then he was like, all right, I'm going to go date people. There was a lot of time elapsed, and he mourned and grieved for his wife. And then, of course, I don't know if anyone's ever had a husband or wife come back from the grave. But it's a little jarring. It's a little unusual. So, yes, it'll be a very exciting episode for both of us, and hopefully we get to have some fun with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello again.
Hi.
So my question is for both of you. I was going to ask about Raphael and what it's like working with him, because, he's a little kid, and how does that compare to working with an adult?
I get to work with the two cutest little boys ever. This one and him. No, I'm not joking. When Rafa's on set, Sean turns into a big little kid as well, and they're just hilarious and adorable together, and I'm totally the odd man out, and I just sit back and watch and laugh. But he's so cute. He's so smart. He teaches me things every day that we're on set. I don't know, he's smarter than me, he's better at his lines, he knows where I'm supposed to be, he knows my lines better than me. I think he's there to throw us off or something.
Often when you see children like that are that cute, and he is profoundly cute. He's one of those kids that can walk past women and you just see them all go, I gotta have a baby. Immediately. but not just any baby. I want that baby. And the thing is, often when you have children, child actors that are that cute, and he is aware, even though he's only 6, he is aware of how cute he is. He knows he is like a superpower, but he's still an adorable boy. He's not a brat. He's not badly behaved. He's super professional, and I think he's going to be an extraordinary actor if he keeps with it. He's got a great mum and dad who keep him. You know, his mum's always on set, and she's always like, Rafa, focus. You know, and also he's 6, so after a 10-hour day, he gets a little bit, you know, like that. So I just get like that with him, and I pick him up and throw him around a little bit, and then shake him around, and then I go, okay, right, we've played, now let's focus. And he's very good at just snapping right into gear and just being professional. And yeah, you just can't help. You want to just steal him and take him home, don't you?
Oh yes.
We just love him.
I've plotted it. I've thought about it.
if he's kidnapped, I think they'll know who to look for first. So, but no, he's a little angel, and yeah, we adore him, don't we?
Yeah, it makes the day. I don't know. Having a kid on set too, you really appreciate what you're doing so much more. You know, when it's a bunch of adults sitting around, sometimes, like you said, you can get cold, tired, all that. And then when there's a child doing it, and they're doing it so well, and then you go, this is just fun.
Yeah, it does make you sort of think I can't really complain because he's 6 and he's having fun. So, but yeah, we got very, very lucky. I would say the casting people on Once deserve an Emmy and a Golden Globe and an Oscar because they just don't put a foot wrong. Every character seems to be so perfectly chosen, right down to little Rafa. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
I have 2 questions for both of you. One, what made you guys want to be actors? Sorry. What made you guys want to be actors? And I'm a drama student, so I love like being on stage, and I'm really quiet, so that's like my way of getting out. And so one, yeah, what made you guys want to be actors? And 2, what's any advice you can give me or anybody else to be like an actor?
Yeah, I can completely relate. I've always been super shy. I was a very shy child. And acting, I don't know if you found this, but it's one of those things that, it's one of those moments that I can stop worrying about what other people are thinking. It's the minute that there's words on the page, I can just have fun with it, and I feel like I am this other person. So So don't worry about that. I mean, being shy, I hear of all these people and they made it as actors and they said, oh, they were always the most rambunctious child or always the performer. I wasn't like that. So I don't think that is a prerequisite for being an actor at all. And I don't know, advice for moving forward, like Sean said, there's a lot of no's, unfortunately, in our industry. So just find the fun in it. And it took me a long time to figure out who I was and to be okay with that. And then once I started being okay with who I was, there were more yeses. So that's the biggest piece of advice I have.
I started as a child, so I didn't really there wasn't a great deal of thought that went into, is this a career choice for me? I made my first film when I was 5. So that's probably one of the reasons why I relate to Rafa, and I understand how kids can get bored on set and they need a bit of fun. So I didn't really choose it. It sort of chose me, and then once I was on set, I guess being one of 6 children, there was obviously some part of me that craves a little bit of attention, as you obviously have to fight for it as one of 6. But once I realized that you could show off for fun and then somebody might pay you for it, I think my decision was made. This is for me. But the second part of your question, I've been asked this a lot over the years, and I've always struggled to find a good answer, but it's occurred to me there's 2 things that you really need to do if you want to be an actor. The first thing is education. There are no great actors that are stupid. That's just a fact. You cannot be a phenomenal actor if you're not bright. So studying is the greatest asset you can have, whether it's learning about history, whether it's learning about geography, whether it's learning about people, English literature, everything. All of it will benefit you as an actor. The second thing is you can't get good at anything if you don't practice. And acting is a difficult thing to do in your bedroom on your own. So you read plays, you watch great movies, go back, watch old movies, find out why great actors were great, and study them, and emulate them, and copy them. So you know, those two things. I think you said you're already in a drama group, that's a great start. If you're not in a drama group and you want to act, find your local amateur dramatics or take drama in school. But again, studying, it sounds boring, like go eat your vegetables, but you can't be a good actor really until you've learned to walk in another person's shoes, and a lot of that's to do with education and, you know, learning. So I encourage everybody to really work their butts off at school, because all the actors I look up to are incredibly bright people. They've got great educations, and there's also a desire to learn and to get better, even when they reach the likes of Kevin Spacey or Benedict Cumberbatch. Those guys will tell you they're the first to get back in and want to train, and they're the first to give it up to other actors, because that's how you get better. So that they would be the two pieces of advice: study and practice, and God willing, you'll get there.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, my sister and I have a really big crush on you.
Thank you very much.
At least she's open about it.
I think she aimed that at you, Christie.
Hi.
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 Do you guys have a favorite line from this half of the season?
Sorry, what was that?
Your favorite line from this half of the season?
A favourite line from the season?
Oh.
Of
Very
our
good
own,
question.
or of just anybody's?
From the show.
From that we've said? Yeah. You're a monster. I feel like I said that a lot.
I was like, steady, I'm dating this woman.
That is a really good question.
I have a couple of lines that, see, we tend to, as actors, you tend to shoot and then forget it and move on to the next one. And it's somebody, I think you're out there, who is it that had on the back of their phone, there's a quote that you can't steal something that's given to you. There you go. Hello, darling. You know, there are lines that I don't really notice that they're quite weighty and sort of a little iconic until somebody has them printed on the back of their phone. You think, wow, yeah, the boys are really clever. They do write some memorable lines. But as I say, I guess it's more for fans to remember than us. Because if we sort of sat around and say, do you remember when I said that iconic line the other day? How cool was I? You'd be like, stop being a dick. So yeah, but that's the first one I could think of.
Yeah, it's hard to remember. You're right. That's a very tough question. Like you said, I forget them.
I think I've had a couple of lines to Regina, like we'll get a second chance. I think things like that seem to resonate with the audience, because I think we all want second chances in life and we all want hope and stuff like that. So I think lines like that stick out, I guess.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi again. I was wondering if you guys had any favorite Disney movies or stories from when you guys were little, and if they haven't been in Once Upon a Time, if you how you think that would work in with any of the existing things that are happening.
My favorite Disney movie growing up was Sleeping Beauty, which they have covered. So I don't know. Like you said, Once Upon a Time flips things on its head. So everything I loved about Sleeping Beauty was so different when it was done in the Once world, right? But I know Wonderland touched on Aladdin and Jasmine too. That's one I've always loved. Yeah. I grew up on Disney. I was a kid raised on the old Disney movies, like the old Robin Hood with the lady duck friend that's helping Marian.
Yeah.
And, those are my favorites. Yeah.
So I always liked, probably because of the genius of Robin Williams, God rest his soul. I was already getting on. I remember I must have been 14, or I wasn't a child, but I was an adult when that came out, and I just remember thinking, wow, this is amazing. And I think they touched on Aladdin and the Genie and all of that stuff in Wonderland.
They did.
But, you know, Disney is such a growing empire, and empire is a good word because they've just acquired Star Wars, and they've also acquired the Marvel characters. Yeah. So there's really no end to how far Eddie and Adam want to stretch this universe.
Once Upon a Time Iron Man?
Yeah. Oh, that would be so cool.
I feel like Robert Downey Jr. would probably be down for that.
Oh, yeah. I will be up for another love triangle.
Even though I'd be like, I can't believe it's just Iron Man. Yeah, no. So I don't know. I mean, but they really do have such a large library to choose from. Because I know a lot of people are going, yeah, well, you've done all the characters now. Then Disney come up with Frozen, and then we bring Frozen into the show. which, made so many young people happy, I think. And again, the casting of all of the Frozen gang was so spot on. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what they do next, and hopefully the show has quite a few years more of storytelling in it.
I hope so. And what are you most excited about for the new Star Wars, or nervous about?
What about seeing the new Star Wars?
Yeah.
I'm excited that JJ's in charge, because JJ is a genius, and most importantly, JJ's a real Star Wars fan. So he knows what all of us Star Wars fans want, which is, we want a spaceship that you can go up and kick. Like a real spaceship, not CGI nonsense, Jar Jar Binks bullshit. We want real Millennium Falcon, we get Han Solo back, Luke Skywalker back, we get Princess Leia back. I mean, I know that somebody who worked on the film, they just had a private screening without all of the effects for just the cast and crew at Pinewood Studios. And they said when the movie finished, everyone was crying because it was so good.
I'm probably going to cry.
And if
too.
that's it, without the special effects, it only makes me think, as a Star Wars fan, ooh, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thrilled, and I'm going to be a complete fanboy when that comes out.
Me too. Thanks.
Really excited for Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right, these are our last few questions. Here we go.
What do you guys do on your free time? Do you guys have any hobbies? Like, do you guys do photography or something?
I like to eat.
Yes. Pizza, bacon, all that good stuff.
Pizza party!
Pizza party!
No, I love food. I can't tell you enough. Most of my free time is spent finding new restaurants and then going on really long runs with my dog or hikes to run off the food. But yeah, no, I love hiking. I'm very fortunate. I live in Vancouver, where Once Upon a Time is filmed. And so I love hiking and being outdoors and then eating. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Gosh. Ask Regina what I like to do in my spare time.
I'm dressed as Regina.
Yeah, the outfit is amazing. Love it.
I think, I just pretty much the same as most people. We have a dog, my wife and I have a dog, and we really like taking him for walks. And I don't know, if 20 years ago somebody had said, do you want to go for a walk? I'd have said, why? We have cars and taxis. Why would you bother walking? But I don't know, maybe it's getting older that we live in California where the weather is pretty good most of the time, and just being able to, I've grown up in the rain, and so to be able to just take the dog for a walk or sit down and watch movies with friends and the occasional glass of wine, but just stuff like that. I just really, really enjoy being at home and being around my friends and my family, really, and my wife.
Cool, awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, I promise this is the last question from me.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. Okay. So, besides yourselves, obviously, these guys are fantastic characters. You already answered who would you rather be, but who is your favorite person, your favorite actor to work with? Colin, Jennifer Morrison, Jennifer Goodwin, Josh Dallas.
That is the most impossible question.
That's a tough question, isn't it?
That's something I've been asked on Twitter a lot, and
it's okay if you say Colin.
Okay, Colin.
Okay, Colin.
He is gorgeous.
He is. Everyone's really
we're blessed.
good.
I don't think you could single out one person. I mean, Colin and I especially have become very close because our wives are good friends, and he's been a great friend to us in getting us used to the show in Vancouver. But Christie and I get on great. We both get along great with Lana. It's a real blessing when you've got a really warm, friendly bunch, because when you join a show, as we have in the third, or in Christie's case, the second season, in my case, the third season, sometimes shows can be like, oh, hey, what up? And then they leave you to sit on your own. That's just not the case with this. Ginny and Josh are the sweetest couple in the world. Bobby is just, I'm one of the biggest fans of Bobby Carlyle in the world. So, there's different reasons on different days where you get excited that you're sharing time with, and also, all the new people that have joined along with me, Bobby, Rebecca, and who's the kid who lives with us, Tanya? Robbie K. Yeah, so, there's just a plethora of great people, and you're never short of good company on the Once Upon a Time set, so... Yeah, I think we're pretty lucky, right?
Sorry, there is something floating in front of my eyes. I'm not.
And I appreciate
fighting ghosts.
Attack of the Lint.
Yeah, Attack of the Lint.
And I appreciate you said Red Riding Hood for your character. So
Good
I
looking
love
out.
it. I love that.
Great costume.
All right, this is our final question. Here we go.
All right. I know that you've worked in Supernatural also. So other than Once Upon a Time, what's like one acting job that was just memorable and amazing for you guys?
Yeah, I've been very lucky. I have been able to work on a few other great shows, like Supernatural and Smallville and Arrow. Joining the cast of Arrow, I think, was one of those first memorable moments next to Once Upon a Time. It was one of the first times I had joined a show right at the beginning, and we kind of got to watch how excited everyone got about the show as we were filming and as we were starting. And it was that first moment of starting to become a family as you're filming a show. And then you find out the show's good and everyone likes it, and you're not going to have to be a family that only texts each other because you can't see each other, and you get to work together every day. So Arrow was a great role. And the crew and the cast and everyone it really is a family over there.
I have different reasons for liking different jobs. Other than the current job, Once Upon a Time, one of the shows that I had probably the best experience on was a show called Off Center, because, thank you, that one person. That's why it's not on the air anymore. The three guys that I did the show with, Jason George, who's now on Grey's Anatomy, John Cho, who's now in Star Trek, and Eddie K. Thomas, who's now on Scorpion, are all still my three best friends in the world. So to do a show 14 years ago where you still managed to stay friends, really close friends, is just just a blessing beyond words. So that one is always the first one that comes to mind because of my boys, But as I say, it doesn't really get much better than being on Once Upon a Time, and that's largely due, as we're wrapping up, because I don't know about you, but I've never experienced a fandom that is as passionate and as invested in a show as the fans are for Once Upon a Time. So thank you, all of you, for that.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.